Good evening, BookTube. I am here to do a tag video. After all, it is Tag Tuesday, and I am going to be doing the D tag by Jim's Books, Reading and Stuff. Yes, I do realize that I am starting on D. I haven't done tags A to C. I was a bit intimidated by A just because of some of the categories, some of the prompts. Um, I probably will go back and do them. However, I was really excited when I saw the D tag and the questions that are asked. So apologies if you can hear some background noise. I do have the window open. It's a warm evening here in Northern England, so I hope that the noise doesn't distract you too much, but I will be leaving it open. But anyways, yes. So right, I recently subscribed to Jim's channel. I could listen to him all day long. Apart from the fact that he has a lot of interesting things to say, I just find his manner of speaking very soothing. And I've happily watched all of his, quite a few of his videos in quick succession tonight. So yes, I hope I do this tag justice. So without further ado, I'll go ahead and start. So the first question is, D is for Dahl. What is your favorite book by Roald Dahl? And I don't think, apart from Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, I read anything by him. I did watch James and the Giant Peach, Matilda, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, and The Witches as a kid, but I don't think I actually picked those books up. And this is a rather disturbing story about me as a kid, and I probably shouldn't mention it, but I'm going to anyways. The illustrator for his books, I think his name is Quentin Blake. I had quite a disturbing dream as a 7-year-old where the witches, as illustrated by him, appeared in my dream and they ate all the children in my neighborhood. So I haven't picked up a book by Roald Dahl purely for that reason. And it's at the point where, as a woman in my 30s, if I see it in illustration by him, or if I see that book, it sends a shiver down my spine. And if I do have kids, I probably wouldn't be able to read them a book by Roald Dahl for that reason. But anyways, that's a very disturbing story about me. I promise I'm not that weird, but anyways, we'll just move on to the next question. D is for Doctor Who. What is your favorite book about time travel? So I do have 3 books for this category, only one of which really fits this prompt, but I'll share them with you anyways because I do think that they deserve mention. So the first one, this isn't about time travel per se, however it is a short history of time. This is a folio edition book called A Short History of Time by Leo Frank Holford Strevens. And it is exactly what it says it is. It's a short history on time. So perception of time, measurement of time, other calendars, Easter seasons, the Gregorian calendar. It's just a delightful little book about time and timekeeping. And I found this in a secondhand bookshop in Crete maybe 5 years ago, and I absolutely love it. One of my favorite purchases. So that's that one. The second one that I wanted to mention, and I have mentioned this in a previous tag video, the Yola Book Upload PDX tag back in December, but this is called The Gargoyle, and this is by Andrew Davidson. And the reason why I'm mentioning this is because the protagonist, or the anti-hero in this book, he is suffering from quite serious injuries, and while in hospital, a strange woman comes to visit him and reveals to him that they've known each other for quite a long time, 700 years in fact, and it's during his healing through his healing, she tells him stories about lovers from far removed places and time periods, and these short stories are about love, tragedy, atonement, and reveal how they themselves, the protagonist and this woman, are interconnected. And I just think this is a beautiful novel, and the short stories that I've mentioned are beautiful in themselves. They could honestly be standalone short stories, so I do recommend this. And the third one that I'll mention, which is the only one that really fits the prompt, is I recently finished the All Souls trilogy by Deborah Harkness. I have a love-hate relationship with this trilogy. Um, it's almost like Twilight for adults, I suppose, but it didn't stop me from reading it. Um, and yeah, it's about a witch who meets a vampire. They travel back in time in the second novel. So yeah, that's the only one that I have that really fits the prompt. So of course I had to throw that in. So moving on to the next question. D is for dark. What is the darkest book you've ever read? And that, again, I've mentioned this in a previous tag video. This would be Cormac McCarthy's The Road. But some other books that I'll mention are Night by Elie Wiesel. Read that in 7th grade, and this deserves a mention because, of course, with it being taking place during the Holocaust, actual events that happened in the past are far more disturbing than anything that I can think of in fiction, just purely because they represent the deepest, darkest, and evilest things that humans can do to each other. And of course, it actually happened. And then Where the Red Fern Grows, also another book that I read in elementary school. And I think, if I remember correctly, this is a coming of age story, and that's by Wilson Rawls, of a kid in the Ozarks who just, it's a story that involves a lot of animal cruelty, and that's something that I find deeply disturbing. I didn't really have the stomach or the backbone to read that book. I just found it very dark. Anyways, question number 4. D is for Dickens. I have read very few books by Charles Dickens, and in fact, I don't think I have actually read a book by him. I can't recall if I'm thinking of watching a film about, A Christmas Carol or A Tale of Two Cities, but I don't actually remember this being on a summer, it might have been on a summer reading list, but I don't think I picked up anything by him. I'll just move on to the next question, so I'm not rambling. 5, D is for dictionary. In these internet years, do you still use physical paper dictionaries? So I do use my phone if I just want to look up a word real quickly, but I was scanning my bookshelves earlier, and I just wanted to show you this. I took Arabic in college. I wanted to dig as an archaeologist in the Middle East, so I took Arabic as a foreign language. And I had brought this back with me from the States when I relocated to England, because it was something that I wanted to pursue. Have I? No. Did it stop me from bringing my workbook with me? No. Maybe it's something that I'll pick up again soon, but I just had a lot of fun reading through this coursework book. I can remember very little, not enough to hold a conversation, but I'll try to read something for you. So that says El Kitabu fi Talum Arabia. Pardon my terrible accent, but if I remember correctly, that's the book on the Arabic language. I think that's what it says. But yeah, had fun going through this. I might pick up some children's book in Arabic just so I could try to get the vocabulary back up. But anyways, just wanted to mention that. My little Arabic to English translation dictionary. So question number 6, D is for Dagger and Detective. What is the last detective novel you have read? Crime is not a genre that I read, and in fact I don't think I've actually read anything by Arthur Conan Doyle. So yeah, I'm gonna have to skip that question, unfortunately. But the next question, D is for Dostoevsky, and what is your favorite Dostoevsky novel? So in a previous tag video, I had mentioned that I've got a very short attention span and I don't read that much fiction. However, when I was younger, I did have the good intention of reading Dostoevsky, and in fact, I brought this over from my shelf for my childhood bedroom. This is The Idiot. I think I've got Brothers Karamazov back home, but again, I have a real problem reading real long novels, but I found a way that I can actually digest works, classics by authors, is by reading short stories. And I have read so White Nights, Notes from the Underground. I do like his short stories a lot. I don't know what it is. It's not that I find them particularly enjoyable. They're just stories where I've read them where I'm like, huh, I don't know what I've just read, but I've got to read more. I don't know what it is about these first person narrations by bitter, lonely men that makes me want to read more. However, I just remember wanting to read more by him. And I haven't fully analyzed why that might be. I haven't necessarily read anything because I have a particular interest in, say, existentialism or Russian classics. I'll stop rambling, but suffice to say, those are my choices for Dostoevsky. So 8 is for diversity. What book from your reading list ticked the most diversity boxes? Oh boy, I don't really read for ticking boxes, and I don't think I read that diversely. If you watch my channel, you know that I read a lot of non-fiction history, so mainly archaeology and a lot of medieval history. There's some fiction in there, but in terms of diversity in a meaningful sense, I read a lot of books by women, which I suppose could fit this category. So for instance, I've picked up one here, Queens of Jerusalem, The Women Who Dare to Rule by Catherine Panganis. And I think this mildly fits the prompt because women in the Middle Ages, particularly noble women, were seen as broodmares, for lack of a better word. They were just vessels for future kings. However, this looks at women in the Outremer who wielded power in their own right, which has been overlooked by historians. So this is a fresh perspective from a woman author talking about women in the past. So I suppose that could fit the category. But yeah, another one that I recently read, Harriet Tubman, The Moses of Her People by Sarah Bradford. That's a biography about Harriet Tubman. But I think I'm clutching here and grasping if I list off various different books by authors, and I think it just make me look bad by demonstrating how ignorant I am by not reading diversely. But anyways, I'll carry on with the final question and stop rambling. D is for drawing. Who is your favorite visual artist? So I really like Impressionist painters. I like Gustav Klimt. I really like his Death and Life, I think it's called. And I like Hans Holbein the Younger. Yeah, I'll finish off with those answers in mind, and I'll stop rambling on and on. But yes, that was the D tag. Again, that's by Jim's Books Reading and Stuff. I enjoyed this very much, and I look forward to watching other booktubers do this tag as well. So anyways, have a good evening, booktube, and have a great rest of the week. Bye for now.